The following is a production of Florida State University's Office of University Communications. Coming up on FSU Headlines, Florida lawmakers celebrate the Garnet and Gold. Dressed for success, FSU students get to work. And the road to Rio runs through FSU for these Olympic hopefuls. Stay tuned for these stories and much, much more. FSU Headlines starts now. Hello and welcome to another edition of FSU Headlines. I'm Dennis Schnitker.
And I'm Nora Bertollet. Florida State University recently received one of the largest gifts ever given to a public university in the state of Florida.
Florida State University is the recipient of a $100 million gift from Jan Moran and the Jim Moran Foundation to honor the late Jim Moran.
Through this generous gift, the Jim Moran School of Entrepreneurship will bring together students and faculty from all colleges and majors across the FSU campus. And now FSU has appointed Florida State business professor and entrepreneur in residence, Susan Fiorito, as the founding director of the Jim Moran School of Entrepreneurship.
The Jim Moran School of Entrepreneurship will be the largest interdisciplinary school of its kind in the nation. Florida State University recently hosted the launch of the state university system's new campaign, Think Florida, a higher degree for business. FSU and the other state universities offer Florida-based businesses a wealth of talent, research, and partnership opportunities. Now, the state university system and the Board of Governors wants to make sure those businesses know it.
Students come to universities to hear new ideas and to come up with their own ideas. But to have it stop there is a pity, because so many good ideas come from students. I teach students and I enjoy it for that reason, that I'm hearing new ideas all the time. So I think having a vehicle statewide as opposed to just locally is a tremendous boon to our students, because a lot of things that a student might want to pursue aren't necessarily feasible in their local community, but if they know there's other universities around the state who have the equipment, who have the know-how, who have the facilities to do these kinds of things, it makes it a lot easier for them to take the next step, to move forward, and to ultimately bring their ideas to fruition.
Well, if everybody is doing what we're doing, and we think most of the universities are, it's going to raise all boats. It's going to give our students who are here opportunities all over the state to work with different businesses, to really focus on their careers, and to have every university involved in this program with businesses is just an amazing thing for our kids.
If you'd like to learn how the state university system supports business in Florida, visit us online at think-florida.org.
Well, the numbers are in, and Florida State University is once again the best in the nation.
That's right, Nora. FSU's online programs are being recognized by U.S. News and World Report as top programs for 2016.
Florida State's online graduate programs in business jumped 22 spots to number 4 in the latest rankings, while the university's graduate programs in education at number 3 nationally and criminal justice at number 5 nationally held steady in the top 10 again this year. These rankings signal a dedication to online learning throughout the university. As one of the state's preeminent public research universities, Florida State serves the people of Florida in a variety of ways. And once a year, Florida State showcases that service at the People's House, also known as the Florida Capitol. FSU Headlines reporter Chase Daftari was there, and he filed this report.
Temperatures may have been low, but school spirit was certainly high for FSU Day at the Capitol.
I couldn't be more proud of FSU, and we appreciate the incredible leadership that Marshall Kreiser is giving to our Board of Governors.
Florida State University alumni and friends gather every year during the legislative session to celebrate their preeminent Florida University.
We're talking about the great things that are going on at Florida State University to our friends in the legislature, and we get to do this once a year, and it's a great opportunity for us to showcase our students, our faculty, some of the great programs that are going on at FSU. And that's the thing, if you go inside the building, 3 floors, we have different programs that we've showcased, all the many myriad of programs that our students are involved in, from the medical school to marine biology, all the good things that are happening at FSU.
With a degree in accounting from Plant City, Dan Rollerson.
Florida State also took roll call, recognizing the university's distinguished alumni and friends currently serving in the Florida legislature.
Big round of applause once again for our Seminoles in the legislature. Thank you again.
It kind of gives you a sense of pride because you get to see all the people who've graduated from FSU who are doing big things, and it kind of motivates you as a student.
FSU rolled out the Star Power to spotlight the university's academic successes, like climbing graduation retention rates and FSU's athletic programs placing among the nation's top 15 for the 9th consecutive
I
year.
say this all the time, we have better kids than we have players. We're very blessed to have them. It has a lot to do with everything that goes on here and all your support. But thank y'all.
There are a lot of really fundamentally great things going on at FSU. Our students are great, our faculty are doing a wonderful job, and you know, so it's a great opportunity to showcase that one time during the legislative session.
So how about a big round of applause for many of the students who are here today and work tirelessly, the Flying Eye Circus, our cheerleaders, our Golden Girls, the Marching Chiefs pep band for their performance today. Thank you once more, and go Noles.
Reporting from the Florida Capitol, I'm Chase Daftari.
Coming up next on FSU Headlines, Florida State University students prepare for life after graduation.
This helps even from freshmen to seniors to find the place that they're going to end up in, that they're going to destined to be in some sort of way. So I think it's great that they give us this opportunity.
Florida State students meet the world when FSU Headlines returns in a moment.
I will forever bleed garnet and gold, and I will forever be here at heart.
Florida State is monumental in my academic and professional career, I think.
The professors are some of the greatest people I've ever met in my life.
We've always known if we wanted to go to Florida State, we were going to go to Florida State.
FSU helped me so much by giving me all the resources that I could need to succeed.
An amazing experience. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.
When you buy a Florida State University license plate,
you're not just showing your school spirit.
You're supporting students like us.
In the lab,
in the classroom,
and in the library.
Putting this tag on your vehicle helps Florida State students achieve their dreams. So show your pride. Purchase an FSU license plate today.
Hello and welcome back to FSU Headlines. I'm Dennis Schnitker.
And I'm Nora Bertollet. Well, Dennis, FSU's done it again. Biology professor Gregory Erickson's added another new dinosaur species to his list.
That's right. This is the second dinosaur in less than a year that the Florida State University researcher has identified.
But this time he didn't have to make a trip all the way to Alaska for the discovery.
You gotta understand when something's found in the field, you bring it back in jackets, and so until you prepare it, you don't really know what you have. And so they did the right thing here. It was professionally excavated and professionally prepared, so it's in very good shape. That's what you want. For a new dinosaur, we were interested as to whether or not this animal is an adult. I mean, is it going to get any bigger than this, or is this a juvenile? And the way we figure that out is we take a little piece off of the bone and make a microscope slide. And then from that, we can project light through it with a microscope. And that's basically what you're seeing here is the microscope section from this animal. And what this tells us is that, first of all, this animal was very rapidly growing throughout life and at the time that it died. And based on this evidence, and also the fact that most of the bones on this animal are not fused together, it suggests that we're dealing probably with a teenager, and that this animal stood to get much bigger, perhaps 20, 30 feet long. We just don't know until we find more specimens. So this is the skull of our new dinosaur, Eotrachodon orientalis, and it means essentially early rough-toothed from the east. And Trachodon was a duck-billed dinosaur found back in the 1800s. It was just known from teeth. The story of this animal's discovery is pretty neat. It was found by amateurs. The Birmingham Paleontological Society were out looking for fossils, and they stumbled upon this incredible dinosaur fossil. They did a great job of excavating it. So it's a really important creature. It's giving us clues as to how the duck-billed dinosaurs radiated around the world. It also tells us where they radiated from. This is a southern dinosaur. This is where they came from, and from here they basically took over the world. So it's a very interesting animal. We're very lucky. This is a very complete skeleton. Most dinosaurs are only known from about 15% of the skeleton, and this animal we know maybe 40-45% of the skeleton. And we have the most important features, which are the skull and the hips of it. So we're going to learn a lot about duck-billed dinosaurs, more so than what we've already published from this specimen. So I think this is really a landmark animal in terms of understanding dinosaur paleontology.
The research team outlined its findings in the Journal of Vertebrate Paleontology. What a year for Professor Erickson and dinosaur research.
Florida State University is bridging the gap to move research from the lab to the marketplace. FSU Headlines reporter Mark Vaughn explains.
Transforming ideas into reality. Many times that means rewarding promising research with extra funds to make sure those ideas make it from the lab to the marketplace. The GAP program is one avenue to do just that.
So we were very encouraged by that a GAP award allowed us to take that discovery so far forward. So this new discovery has the same potential, although it is a somewhat different market or a different applicability, because the cognitive inflexibility treatment will have implications not only for ADHD but also for autism, schizophrenia, OCD, etc.
The GAP program provides university researchers with funding to prepare their work for commercialization and potentially find outside investors. Over the past 10 years, Florida State has doled out nearly $2.2 million to researcher products. This year, 6 FSU researchers earned GAP awards. Director of the FSU Center for Brain Repair, Pradeep Bide, is one of them. He's developing a new non-stimulant drug to treat cognitive inflexibility. The disorder is one of the primary causes of autism.
And unfortunately, today there is no treatment for this disorder. There are about 25 million people in the United States alone are diagnosed with this particular disability.
Dr. Bide and his colleague Deirdre McCarthy are excited to have this GAP funding once again.
Unfortunately, it's extremely difficult these days to get an NIH grant or even get those smaller grants just to help you to do that. So the fact that somebody actually believes in your, what we would call basic research, and that they would actually help you take that to another level, commercialization in particular, that will actually have an impact, that is huge for me. I didn't actually think when I first started doing science that would actually be what I would do.
For FSU Headlines, I'm Mark Vaughn.
This year, 6 researchers will split $155,000 from FSU to further their work.
Florida State University's Multicultural Leadership Summit gives students a fun and inspiring opportunity to learn about diverse issues. Several hundred students participated in the 2-day summit to discuss the theme, Lives, Liberties, and the Politics of Happiness. The keynote speaker, senior justice writer for the New York Daily News, Sean King, was chosen to speak in light of the upcoming election year. He encouraged participants to continue being social justice leaders on campus.
Well, it's a beautiful thing, and I didn't really know the history of MLS before I got here. And as soon as I got here, so many people had things to tell me about previous years where they had been a part of it and the impact it had on them. I had a chance to meet students who were really impacted by previous sessions, even this year. And so to have something like this on a campus like Florida State is really essential. And students all over the country are asking for these types of forums where they can not only learn from one another, but learn from other experts and leaders and innovators. So it's a great thing that Florida State is doing this. And so many students are thinking about social justice and social change. And schools have a chance to either really inform how their students think about those issues, or just completely unplug and allow students to kind of figure those things out on their own. And so when I see universities like Florida State who said, hey, we want to be a part of that conversation. We know that whether we say so or not, students are going to be into issues of activism. They're going to have causes that they care about. Let's actually be a part of it. And so I've been surprised, frankly, because some schools don't have even the staffing or the facilities that I've seen here at Florida State around issues of social change and equality.
The wide variety of topics discussed throughout the 2 days include sessions on empowering students with disabilities to even better understanding online advocacy. Organizers of the summit hope to highlight ways for participants to create change within their own communities while learning how to navigate social and political processes.
It's incredible. I mean, even Sean was saying this morning in his presentation that there are other universities that are fighting to have events like this, to have spaces like this, to have centers like this on their campus. And, you know, we call it free speech, but it doesn't always work that way. So to be able to be involved in conversations or be able to provide the platform for these conversations to happen and hopefully providing a platform for action past this event, it's an incredible feeling. It's unexplainable.
Florida State University Center for Leadership and Social Change holds numerous events throughout the year to engage FSU students.
Students, faculty, and staff are part of a legacy of diversity and unity at Florida State University, and FSU celebrates that legacy each January during Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Week. This year's theme can be felt among the many events available for students as well as the Tallahassee community to participate in and enjoy.
One of the things we really wanted to do is, obviously we're a community of college students, but we also want to make sure that we're reaching out to our high schoolers and bring them to be a part of the FSU community and hopefully, actually get some of these people also excited about Florida State University and maybe have some future Seminoles amongst them. So I think that's just an opportunity for us to better engage in the community and just reach back out into the younger generation and really just try to tie the two together.
FSU students also fully coordinate the many events during FSU's MLK Week, including a presentation on the history of diversity at FSU, a voter registration block party, Freedom March, and a special night to recognize faculty and staff that completed diversity training. The week wrapped up with a special talk by featured guest Jelani Cobb.
We are featuring Jelani Cobb, Dr. Jelani Cobb, for our Golden Tribe event, the culmination of the week. And before he goes on to speak, he'll have a chance to interact with students, faculty, staff, and community members over dinner. So it'll be free for anyone who signs up and participates, and really get to engage one-on-one with them in conversation about the issues that are going on in today's society. He's also a history professor, so hopefully we'll get to touch on some of the history pieces as well.
Florida State students dress for success as they head to the Civic Center for the Career Center's Seminole Futures event, which is part of the Career Fair Week. FSU Headlines reporter Alexia Gonzalez joins us now with more. Alexia?
Thanks, Nora. Seminole Futures gives students the ability to transform into what they like to call themselves, professionals. They have the opportunity to meet and network with alumni and recruiters from corporate, nonprofit, and government organizations.
Beyond the classroom, students at Florida State University utilize the resources of FSU's Career Center. From resume and cover letter assistance to career panels and workshops, the Career Center at Florida State University offers a variety of free services for students to help transition them from student to professionals. College of Engineering Career Liaison Melissa Forges expresses how FSU seeks top recruiters and employers for students to connect and network.
The great thing about Florida State is that we have great relationships not only in the community but throughout the world. And so we bring in employers that we've had a long-standing relationship with, but then we also cultivate relationships and conduct outreach to employers. So we reach out to employers to find out who do students want to work for, who do they want to work with.
College of Communication and Information student Ana Fernandez explored the Seminole Futures Fair in anticipation of her imminent graduation. although she still has a few more years at FSU.
This is my first time here. It's my first career fair. I graduated in December 2017. My major is media communication studies, so as you can see, I have a long while to graduation. But I just came here to check out my options, explore what I can find. Maybe I can find an internship, this early in time. It can give me the work experience that I'm looking for. And I don't want to limit myself.
With ambitious students like Anna exploiting the resources that FSU and the Career Center provide, employers are eager to engage in numerous events throughout the week. Companies like General Motors send employees who are Florida State University alumni, like Noah Moore, to better connect with current students for not only the Seminole Futures Career Fair, but Engineering Day, as well as specific classroom visits.
Yeah, I mean, so far the profile seems fantastic. The reputation Florida State has to our company is fantastic. We have over 300 graduates working in our IT department alone. I work in our office in Austin, Texas, and we have the most employees from one school is from Florida State. We have a little bit more invested since we're alumni. We want to be able to help people who were like us. I know when I was here, I wish I had a lot more people who were telling me what I should be looking at, going to the Career Center, taking everything that they have to offer, mock interviews, career resume writing, LinkedIn profile writing, which is huge nowadays. But to me, it's just helping out my fellow Seminoles,
Although the Career Center's Fair Week comes around once a year, students are able to build off their networking opportunities and continue follow-ups beyond Florida State's campus. That's it from the Civic Center. Nora, back to you.
Thanks, Alexia. To learn more about the events and resources provided by FSU's Career Center, visit career.fsu.edu.
Well, coming up next, a group of elite athletes make a stop at Florida State University.
We usually come for 6 weeks from the middle of January to the end of February. This year we came early.
We'll show you how FSU is helping them go for the gold when FSU Headlines continues in a moment.
Welcome back to FSU Headlines. I'm Dennis Schnitker.
And I'm Nora Bertollet. Basketball season is in full swing, and the Seminoles are jockeying for a position in the Atlantic Coast Conference this year.
The Noles have some key wins in the conference and a big win over rival Florida, but what's ahead for the team? Well, FSU Headlines reporter Mark Vaughn is here now to fill us in.
Hey, Dennis and Nora. The Florida State University men's basketball team is having a resurgent year in 2016 so far. The Noles in the heat of the ACC schedule with big wins over Virginia and Clemson already. The team relying on some senior leadership, but of course the talents of the young guns, including Malik Beasley and Dwayne Bacon. Of course, sophomore star Xavier Rattan-Mays. Beasley leading the team in scoring, and it's only going to get tougher though throughout the end of the regular season, so they'll definitely have to keep stepping up as the Noles have dates with Miami and Duke before the ACC tournament in early March. But if the team can pull together some tough road wins and defend the Tucker Center, the ACC has some parity this year and it could bode well for the Noles. All right, on to the women's team, and this year's squad has picked up right where last year's left off, starting the year 19-4, 9-1 in the ACC, heading into the heart of the ACC schedule. And this team defends the Tuck and the basketball well again in 2016. Heading down the stretch, some big matchups with UNC and Miami bolster an already impressive ACC schedule. And that's, of course, before it's time for the showdown in Greensboro for the ACC tournament. Look for this team to use experience and talent to make another tournament run. Okay, so now switching gears quickly to baseball and softball. Yes, you heard that right. Even though it's still cold outside, it's time to think about spring sports. The Florida State baseball team into practices for the preseason, getting ready for 2016. The Seminoles, who reached the Gainesville Super Regional in 2015, are looking to replace 7 players drafted in the Major League Baseball draft. Florida State made significant additions during the signing period, picking up 9 freshmen and 2 junior college transfers and 2 collegiate transfers. The baseball team heads into the season ranked number 16. Now on to softball, and the Seminoles have earned the Atlantic Coast Conference regular season title in each of the last 3 seasons on the softball diamond. ACC tournaments in 2014 and 2015 makes them a prediction to win it again this year in 2016, as they are ranked number 10 in the nation. Florida State softball was voted to finish first by the league's head coaches in 2016. The Noles have posted a 78-13 record against ACC opponents since 2012, and they'll look to get off to a hot start ahead of another potential banner year this season. Well, as you can see, there's a lot going on in Seminole sports. For all the action, you can always check out Seminoles.com. That's going to do it for sports. Let's send things back to you.
Thanks for that update, Mark. Well, while we have our own elite athletes here at Florida State University, a few more made a pit stop here on campus at the Institute for Sports Sciences and Medicine as part of their journey to Rio and the 2016 Olympic Games. Take a look.
The ISSM is primarily a research institute, and one of the big initiatives for 2016 is outreach programming. And so we're going to start a program now to open up our facilities on a per needs basis, as well as sort of feel out what the community needs as far as resources from a place like us that does research and can provide sports nutrition through testing and training, and even now things like the Ultra G for running rehabilitation or supplementation.
It's actually harder than most people might think for professional runners to gain access to facilities. Even just access to tracks to run on can be hard for professional runners because they're not associated with a school or a university. And access to an anti-gravity treadmill or an underwater treadmill, things like that are very difficult to get access to. So contacting the lab and having them embrace us and say, come on in, sort of blew my mind.
So that's calibrating his weight, so those, when he on weights himself. We've essentially been turning everybody away because of the mission of the Institute, and so with some redesign and some program and structuring over the last 6 months, we've been able to develop this to a place where we're just about ready to get it launched fully and offer services like body composition testing all the way through using the Ultra G treadmill to getting VO2 max tested or your aerobic capacity to even strength performance testing or even blood lipids and glucose to see your general health. So we will be a facility that can handle that type of operation soon, and getting these guys to sort of guinea pig the experiment is a wonderful place to start.
Well, that's going to do it for this edition of FSU Headlines, but you can see more news from Florida State University anytime at Florida State 24/7.
It's the official news website of Florida State University, and you can find it online at news.fsu.edu.
For Dennis and everyone here at Florida State University, I'm Nora Bertollet. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.